been for a long time because obviously a lot's happened. You know, the second half of last season, we win the Europa
Hmm.
League, Ange goes, and then Frank's come in. So I've sort of just been keeping a keen eye on everything and just waiting
Same.
before I come on. And
Letting the dust settle before you
yeah,
put your
there's
stamp
lots
on things.
happened, mate.
And so, how do you see things at the moment?
Yeah, do you know what? I think I've been to a lot of the games this season already. I was at Burnley, I was at Bournemouth, I was at Villarreal, I was at Doncaster as well. And I think that look, we've been good, but the sort not the red flags, but the amber flags, I would say, have been there in terms of our forward play, and I would say that there's been a consistent pattern with us struggling to build up properly from the back, and then also our forward line, they're not getting the goals. Palhinha is probably our top goal scorer now,
Hmm.
and I've just seen that same pattern in all our games, and I think Frank's he's got to work it out, and I just thought today we were awful, I think, and I think Wolves deserved all 3 points in my opinion. They were fantastic, and I just thought we were pretty woeful. It was a pretty disastrous performance actually.
Would you not say in the first half at least we looked more likely to score and we probably should have had a goal?
The first half we were decent. We were decent, but we didn't really. I don't think we hurt Wolves enough. I thought Wolves were a little bit scrambly at the back in that first half, and then in the second half, Wolves make the adjustment, and then we took Kudus off the right and put him on the left, and brought Brennan Johnson on the right, and I just thought it just killed us completely. Kudus on the left, and Xavi on the left to start the game. The thing with Xavi on the left, I understand again, similar to what Ariane said in terms of why he's put Xavi on the left is because obviously no one in that squad has really stamped their authority on that left wing position, and that's why he's kind of I need Xavi in there somewhere, so let's put him on the left and put Bergvall in the middle. But the problem with Xavi on the left is, it's not necessarily his individual performance. It's more that when he comes inside, there's no balance on that left side. There's no width. There's no one making that run. It's a doggy making that run or Spence making that run on the left. There's no other winger for him to go to. So we lose that balance when we on the right, for example, when you've got Porro and Kudus and Bergvall on that right hand side. But when Xavi comes in, there's no one making that overlapping run other than a doggy, and then we're exposed. So it's that issue. I think that's kind of more of the issue. And I thought we were terrible in that second half. We were awful, and Wolves were just so on it. They were so physical. They were so direct. And it's not even as if we dominated possession. They had their fair share of the ball, and every time they got the ball, they were popping it, moving it. We just looked like we were absolutely chasing shadows for the entire second half, really.
He eventually put Xavi in the 10 and moved Bergvall a bit deeper, very similar to
Yeah.
how we ended the Brighton game, but it didn't seem to work. Why do you think it backfired?
Well, I don't think Xavi had the best game overall either. And also, looking at Wolves, they put five men. They played with a back five in that second half, and I just think it was difficult for anyone really to break them down. And I just thought that you've got Xavi in the middle, and then when he in that period where he put Xavi in the middle, he put Kudus on the left, and Kudus is just not. When he gets the ball on the left, he can't go both ways. He can only go left, and it was pretty diabolical that. And then he changed it. I think he changed it at the end. He put Kudus back on the right, or he moved Kudus into the middle, I think, to get him more involved in the game. But yeah, I just thought it was just poor. We didn't even have a shot on target until the goal, I don't think, in the second half. So, and it's just another game where, against Burnley, we really struggled in that first half to get the ball up the pitch. And you look at City away, that's a game where we didn't have the ball and we kind of hit them on the counter attack. And then Bournemouth at home, a game where we just couldn't get out of first gear. We couldn't we couldn't progress the ball up the pitch. We couldn't get up the pitch. Even Doncaster, I just felt watching that game. It's another. If Brennan Johnson doesn't score that third goal with the last second of the game, it's another game where Palhinha scored from a set piece, and we've scored an own goal. So it's another game where the forward line are not clicking. It's not there yet, and there's a lot of weaknesses in the team. I think there's a lot of weaknesses in the team at the moment.
Yeah, but we are 6 games into the season, and
Yep, absolutely.
Frank's just taken us. So, from your point of view, what you are seeing from Frank, do you trust him to get all those things into place? He did say today, he said to the BBC, the foundations are in a good place. We're defending well and working hard and running hard. It's just the offensive part that we need to add layers to. And that's part of the development. So do you kind of agree with that? Do you trust him to get that right?
I trust him, but I have some caveats because there's been a few sort of characteristics that he's displayed so far that I would say are those kind of amber flags in terms of one, I think his status quo as a manager is he's very, very respectful of the opposition, and no matter who they are, which is a good thing because we're coming from a team that leaked goals and couldn't beat anybody to a team he's trying to, build the defensive foundations. I agree, the defensive foundations are there. We're a big team. We're a strong team. He's got the midfield. He's got the back line to kind of play this brand of football. We're very good at stopping counterattacks. We're very fast. We're very dynamic. So I think the defensive side, he's. I think those pieces were kind of already there for him to kind of come in and just kind of sort us out tactically. The offensive side is not just one element. That's like a very significant part of the game. The offensive side, and I think that. I think overall this season we've struggled massively offensively, and yet we've managed to win a lot of our games convincingly. And I think that's a good thing. I think it's a good thing that when we're struggling to score, we still end up nicking a set piece. We still end up, beating West Ham 3-0 when we weren't that great in that game, in my opinion. So I think I do trust Frank. I just think that, he's got to. I think one of the problems in that second half is kind of a symptom of all season where he's kind of not changed anything at half time and gone, do you know what? That worked. We're not losing. So let's just roll with the same lineup again. And he's not quick enough to make those adjustments, in my opinion, so far. And not necessarily in this game because he did make subs early in this game, but overall in some of the other games like Bournemouth, for example, he didn't make subs early enough. And I think that is part of him trying to, get a feel for the team, and it is early doors. So I really don't want to be too hard on him because he has done a great job so far. I think he's done an excellent job, but there's a lot of room for us to develop and improve. And that's a good thing because we're still third in the Prem. We have 11 points, and I think there's tons of room for this team to grow. Tons of room because we've not even hit our stride offensively yet. We've not had a game where Richie, Kudus, Xavi, Brennan have all scored. We've not had a game like that yet. So we're still kind of simmering away and getting enough results. But I thought today was a really big slip up. Really big slip up.
Yeah, that I see what you're saying. Like the attack hasn't quite clicked yet. We're still in position where we're getting we're third in the league at the moment, and we're still getting good results. We obviously Palhinha equalised in 95th minute and then took his shirt off to celebrate. What was your reaction to that?
Yeah, why is that such a big talking point of today? I didn't really think it was a big issue. I just thought he's just he's got abs. He's showing his abs. He's scored a great goal. He scored a top goal. It's a great finish. I certainly didn't celebrate when the goal went in because I was pretty furious with the performance. But he's a passionate player. He plays with that violence and that aggression, and he shouldn't be the one scoring those goals. So maybe if I was in his position and the forward line aren't doing it, and I've just scored a peach to equalise it, I'd probably just make a statement. Look, we need to be better than this. He's not the one who's supposed to be scoring those goals. So. Maybe that's why he doesn't know how to act when he scores, because he's not the one who's supposed to be putting the ball in the back of the net. It should be Richarlison, Kudus, Xavi, Brennan. These guys, these are the ones who should be scoring goals. It shouldn't be Palhinha. We shouldn't be relying on a long shot from Palhinha. So I haven't got an issue with it. And it was at the end of the game, so it's not like he's going to get booked and then be in trouble for the rest of the game. It's at the last minute of the game, so I don't think it was.
I guess it's a talking point because the celebration police. I don't know if people put me in that category, but should he be getting the ball, running to the centre circle, and going to score the winner rather than focusing on celebrating a goal which ultimately doesn't give us a result that we're happy about?
Yeah, I think, but at the same time, it is another game just like Brighton last week where we've come from behind and stopped a defeat. So I don't think I think the previous caller said there was a mentality issue. I wouldn't say it's a mentality issue because I think we've showed actually a strong mentality to keep going in the last two games anyway. I thought the Brighton result was a fantastic result. I would have taken the draw before the game. Today isn't a fantastic result, but it's certainly a positive that. Because I didn't think we were going to score. And, we're 1-0 down. It's a game we've seen 1,000 times over as Tottenham fans, that 1-0 defeat at home to a team in the bottom half of the Prem. We've seen that result so many times over the last 5 years anyway. So, I think there's a good mentality there that we've it's a positive anyway that we got the point. But yeah, I've not seen the Frank post-match yet. But what were your thoughts on his post-match?
Who, Frank?
Yeah,
I've just seen a few quotes. I don't know exactly what if he said anything. I mean, I've seen a few quotes from what he said. I haven't seen like his demeanor and stuff. But look, for me, I agree with a lot of what you said. I think you make a lot of good points about Thomas Frank. I think today, I think he just got outdone by the opposition manager, which is unlike him because he's usually the one who's kind of early to think about things and one step ahead. But I felt like Pereira was always a step ahead of him today, one step ahead of him tactically. Whenever Frank was reacting to what Pereira did, Pereira seemed to have another trick up his sleeve. And I think changing to that back three, we just didn't seem to have an answer for it, which is interesting because Frank said pre-game that we planned for a back three and a back four. We made plans for both, but it seems as though when he moved to that back three, we didn't really know how to deal with it. And that was a concern.
If we hadn't lost the Bournemouth 1-0 in the way we had, I would agree with you that, you know, he's just been outdone, and that's just unfortunate. But he got outdone by Iraola as well at home. It's another home game where, you know, I think we probably, I personally think we deserve to lose that game 1-0. I don't think we create, I think just based off how
it
poor
should
we
have
were
been probably, I think 1-0 flattered us, I would say.
Yeah, and so you know, him getting outclassed again is a little bit, I think that's a little bit more than just saying, you know, it's a one-off. He got outclassed. You know, next time he'll. That's kind of that's where I'm a little bit hesitant with Frank. Is that I know that we're giving him grace, and that a lot of the fans will turn around and say, okay, look, he's been outdone today. We'll get him next time, sort of mentality. But the same thing did happen against Bournemouth. It wasn't that against Bournemouth they nicked one and then we peppered them and got unlucky. We just structurally couldn't play against them. We just made them look so amazing. And I found myself saying the same thing. I was like, wow, Wolves are amazing. I've never seen Wolves play this good. They're fantastic. They're dominant. They're getting to every ball. Every time they're playing with build up, they've got a spare man. We just look a step behind. And I think that was a structural thing, and that can't happen that many times. We're talking about Frank, who's supposed to be this mastermind, and for him to have been outclassed tactically by both of these managers, it's not a strike on his resume. It's a little bit of just, I would say that we need to be a little bit wary of, you know, I get it. We want to give Frank time. He's a great guy. He's done great so far, but we have to kind of just be wary of the fact that this has happened a couple times now, and it's not, you know, Wolves at home. We have to be winning that game. We have to be winning that game, you know.
It's about just being honest about what you're seeing, and it's not about, you know, it's not about having narratives or anything. It's just, and I agree with you. Today was, I think we had a lot of problems, and it's a lot of problems that we've seen in other games as well. It's not just this game. We have struggled in open play to create chances in a lot of different games this season. Brighton was a bit of a difference because we seem to really start to click at going forward, but that at the moment, that seems to be a bit of an outlier when it comes to a lot of our games so far this season, especially at home. We've really struggled to create consistent chances from open play.
Yeah, so and I would say, sorry, go on.
No, go on. What were you going to say?
I would say one other thing about Frank is that every lineup he does, there's always one decision in there that you kind of go, oh, I wasn't expecting that. You know, Porro being benched today after playing against Doncaster, that was a bit of a weird one. I was surprised to see Porro against Doncaster, and then Porro benched today. I really thought he got that one the wrong way round. You know, seeing Brennan Johnson on the left to start the season, he's always had, Tell up top against West Ham. He always has one or two kind of things with his lineup that we don't expect and are a little bit like, I'm not sure about that, you know. And
but for me, I don't mind that because Frank is a manager who thinks outside the box, and he's a manager who profiles players very differently to what you expect. And I think he's just working that all out. He's not going to be worked out overnight, and he's got to try things. He's got to put and he's got to try things, and things have to go wrong for him to know that doesn't work. That does work. When we play a team that goes to a back three, that we struggled against this. So next time when we play a team that goes to a back three, we do this. Like that. This is all just part of it all working out, I think.
100%. I 100% agree. And again, it's all part of the process, him learning the team and everything. And I would also just say one last thing, just on a positive note. You know, you look at the Premier League table now. You know, Palace are second, Sunderland are fourth, Bournemouth are fifth. You know, Leeds are in the top 10, which no one expected. You know, a lot of teams around us are dropping points. Everyone's dropping points. You know, Chelsea were battered today, and rightfully so. You know, United were battered today, rightfully so. And so you know, it's a very, very competitive league. You know, Bournemouth are a great team. You know, it's not so we're struggling, and we're still staying afloat. We're still above where I think we probably
We're third.
expected to be. We're third, you know, so we're definitely in a good position, and my whole kind of point is that I'm not angry with Frank. I'm not angry with the team. I understand that, you know, there's a lot of work to do and there's a lot of improvement to make, but we're still in a good position. We still managed to get enough results to kind of keep us in that top 5 race, and that's the most important thing, because nobody should expect Frank to have us, you know, chasing Liverpool at this point. You know, the fact that we're third is a very good mark for us. It's just sort of surprising that we've dropped points today and we're still third. It just shows how all the teams around us are kind of fighting with each other, and there's no clear sort of breakaways happening yet in the Prem. So
yeah, and I completely agree with that. I think the money that's in the Premier League now, I think it's only going to get more and more competitive, and it's so hard to stay right at the top right now, and with all these different teams, even in the middle of the road teams now, getting more settled, more quality, getting more better quality managers, and so smart with their recruitment as well. It's very, very difficult to keep yourself kind of above like we're trying to do. Look, we are third, and we are still doing well in the league. And look, I think Frank has just got to have a bit more time with the team, and I get your frustrations, but yeah, look, I'm still confident he's going to take us where we need to be, but we're just going to need a bit of time. But look, Hugo, appreciate you calling in, mate. Really great call. And please, look, don't wait too long to call in again, mate. Please call in.
No, I will call in again. I will call it. Do you know what it is? The whole of last season, it was like fucking meltdown station. So I was a bit like, let me just.
And also, what are you going to say at the end of last season when it was just?
What am I going to say? You know, I was just happy. I was just on the street singing. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
It was great. But yeah, nice one, mate. And I'll catch you soon.
Big up to you, Hugo. See you soon.
All right.